what's happening, everyone? Welcome in. It is January 6th, 2025. It is a Monday, and this is Snaps. The Snaps boys are back. I am TBob. He is Aaron Murray. We got a ton to get to on today's show. We'll preview the two Final Four games so we can officially get our takes locked and uploaded for the YouTube channel. And then I've got, I don't know, we'll see how much we end up getting into, but I've got like 10 to 12 little news stories to maybe touch on as the show goes on. So it's going to be a fun day today. Aaron, what's up, brother? As chat has already opened up with people very excited, very happy with you for your Duke's Mayo Bowl performance. We'll get there. How you doing, Aaron? Glad to be back home for a bit here.
Glad to be home. Glad that I don't have to eat mayo. And it wasn't bad. I will admit, I will start to put mayonnaise on my pub subs. It was good. It was good. It was good.
Be like, it wasn't bad. It's like somebody being like, somebody gave me like $1,000, and I got to tell you, I enjoyed it. Yeah. I enjoyed that. Like, of course, it's fucking delicious. It's the best condiment out there.
Why does it get such a bad rap? Because it looks like cum? Like, what? Why?
What? We are not even 2 minutes into the show. That's normally my role. And no, I don't think it does look like that.
Why does it get a bad rap? Then?
What are you drinking that your semen would be the consistency and or very white color?
Pineapple, strawberries, blueberries.
Do I need to be eating
cottage cheese?
Post vasectomy, you're still that creamy white? Yeah. No way, dude. I don't know. Does mayo get a bad rap? I don't feel like it does.
I feel like it does. That's exactly what the whole point of the show, the broadcast was. Having mayo on random ass shit because people have like such a bad, weird vibe towards mayo.
I'm gonna say that I think you have your life algorithm, who you have surrounded yourself with, the decisions that you have made up to this point in your life has just led you to, for some reason, believe that people don't like mayo, because my real life For You page is just filled with mayo and has been
really
since I was a little kid. Like I said, mayo sandwiches on white bread, just mayo on everything. I used to put mayo on my meatball subs from Subway, and they were great. And then I stopped going to Subway. I will say this. I mean, look, it's got like eggs in it, so that can freak some people out sometimes, I guess.
It's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. Like when I got into the banana mayo sandwich, which I guess is a thing in the South, because everyone was like, it's no idea. But I tasted mostly banana.
Yeah.
So wasn't bad.
So the mayo in that case is more of like a fat and or a binding agent. I mean, mayo's never the star of the show, really.
Okay. See, I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like this heavy taste.
That was maybe the most ironic part of your previous mayo experiences. You ate it in the only context in which it is the star of the show, on French fries.
Yeah.
Like normally it's an additive. You were just going in balls deep with it being the only thing there. When I tell you, I love mayo and ketchup mixed together on a burger. I think mayo and ketchup mixed together is one of the greatest combinations in just on the entire earth. I got a good burger post church yesterday from a Mexican place. Sometimes you're just not in the mood for the fajitas.
No,
midday fajitas can knock you on your ass sometimes.
Always fajitas.
Always. So you're saying always. No matter what, once, not even one switch up, to keep it a little.
If I'm going to Chili's, if I'm going to a Mexican restaurant, if I'm going to Chewy's, we're getting fajitas.
Okay. What kind of fajitas?
I like to get the mix: chicken, shrimp, and steak.
Okay, I normally don't do the chicken. I go with the surf and turf, a little shrimp and steak. But I mean, yeah, sure. I do.
The next thing I got to learn to like is sour cream. I've never had sour cream before.
What the fuck? What do you don't even put a dollop of sour cream on your fajitas?
No.
Okay, give me your perfect fajita because I will teach you. I will educate you when you get done.
Like how I build it, or just what I want on it?
No, how do you build it? How do you build your fajita?
All right, when I build my fajita, we get the fajita. I get some guac, and I've spread the guac on there.
Okay, good bonding agent on the bottom. I'm proud of you already.
Then I put the meat, Then I put the veggies, the peppers, the onions sauteed. Then I put some salsa, some cheese, and then maybe a little bit of black beans, and that's it.
Okay. I don't hate it.
No
I don't
rice.
hate it at all. It's
No
a
rice,
very
no
good
sour
bite.
cream.
So that's where I'm going to say that we're kind of leaving a couple of key elements out. I actually like to start with my base layer of beans as my main rotting agent. Then I'm going to sprinkle the rice on top of that, so all that rice stays in there. Meat goes next to really force it, down. Then, like you said, veggies, pico, sour cream, guac. Pour a little bit of that butter sauce over the top, and that is a top 5 bite of food on the planet. It's right up there with, if you go to a great crawfish boil and you get an excellent piece of garlic along with the tail, and then you get a really good suck of the head where you get a lot of good juices. That's another one of the top 5 bites of food of all time. I need to come up with my other 3, because I always reference those 2. I wonder what else would be on that list. I mean, I think I might just throw a sausage, bacon, egg, and cheese croissant bite on there. I mean,
the sausage, yes.
What?
Yeah.
Take out the sausage.
Take out the sausage. Just bacon, egg, and cheese. No sausage needed. Don't need it. Don't need it.
Why take out the sausage?
Just bacon, egg, and cheese. I don't need sausage.
But don't you find bacon to be a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Insubstantial sometimes? Unsubstantial? Like, it's just a thin little piece of meat. You need a patty on it. But what if you put 3 and put a patty of sausage on there? What? I'm going to show you. Look, I'm going to show you a fucking breakfast sandwich that I made myself.
I think it is. I agree with Dobby in the chat between the mayonnaise and then not wanting sausages. I think that's exactly what it is, I guess.
What? Why I'm fat and you're not?
Yeah.
Look at this, Aaron. This is how you build a breakfast sandwich. Look at that. We've got multiple pieces of bacon, 2 sausage patties, some eggs. Now that would be fried eggs. I just learned to fry eggs over the weekend. And and then a little bit of avocado and cheese on there. And look at when this thing comes together. Oh my God. See, now that is a bite of food. That is worth dying all day. Also, people accused my tree of leaning here. And no, man, look, it just got a little swag to it. This little swag lean, dude. Fucking relax, nerds.
Lean, damn.
Fried egg on a sandwich is too messy. No, you get the delicious runny yolk. I mean, it's messy, but come on, man. I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. Yeah. Get me a little.
What was the worst thing from the entire menu offered to us? Another thing I've never had before, but had to do for the first time with mayonnaise, was a turkey leg. Did not enjoy the turkey leg at all.
What?
Very sticky, very messy.
Eating a turkey leg in the context of in a suit, I'm on TV, I want to be like clean feeling is an awful choice. Like I don't even get turkey legs at the Renaissance Fair, or because it's just like it's just a grease city. You just got to dive your face in there, and it's just like everywhere, just all over your pores and whatnot. But I do,
and then I try to do the my telestrator with my finger, because that's how I do it. I couldn't do it. For like 5 minutes.
Too greasy?
Yeah, it's too greasy. My producers in my ear like, go, Aaron, go. I'm like, I'm trying. My damn freaking finger won't work. I was like, I looked at it, just turkey grease just everywhere.
Again, Scott says that's shocking. Turkey legs are delicious. I like the taste and flavor, but I agree with Aaron. If I was in a suit and I needed to feel good and do a broadcast, I would not want to want a turkey leg. Makes you feel bad immediately.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank y'all. Good job, Aaron. Very proud of you on the call. I only caught. So, I did want to say this. So you ate the ice cream bar with the mayo. You killed it. You went back for seconds, and all the time, your co-announcer Matt Berry, very performative, picks up the trash can, is spitting into the trash can, talking about how crazy you are. And I love Matt, but a soft look from Matt there.
Yeah, it wasn't his best look, to be honest. I'm just more disappointed that I ate the 2 bites. I enjoyed it. Didn't really taste that bad. we went on the talk. I was saving the rest of it, the non-mayonnaise rest of the chocolate bar for commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
I turn around and one of the mayonnaise people took it away and threw it away. I did
Unbelievable.
all that hard work, 2 bites. I didn't give you 1 bite. I gave you 2 bites, and then you're going to take my ice cream sandwich away from me for in between breaks. So that
I
ticked
just
me off
like
a
that.
little bit.
Even if you didn't enjoy it, you just handled it like a champ. Straight back. I would play y'all guys the clip, but we get demonetized. But straight back, beautiful as always. Shit-eating grin on your face. And you just I was very proud of you, dude. Even though now I'm in trouble with Matt Flynn because I quote tweeted saying that's my QB1. And now he's saying I was your QB1. So now I'm and Hester's and instigating and antagonizing
as he should
the entire situation. I said I believe in 2 quarterback systems. I recognize 2 QB1s, Jay Lee and George Jefferson. So I got no problem having 2 QB1s in my life. I've done it all my career, really. Aaron, you really did great. Professional but fun, says Locke. Thank you. All right. Normally, you don't ramble this long at the beginning. Let's go ahead and dive in to the games. And then again, just so you know, we got a settlement leak. So some more info on the settlement. Jaden Rashada back in the portal. Branch Brothers committing to Georgia. Noel Devine joining Rich Rod's staff. Ryan Grubb fired in Seattle. Greg Sankey saying he changed the playoffs next year. And I do want to take just a moment of seriousness here. Massive thoughts and prayers to the Smart family as Kirby Smart's father, Sonny Smart, and just a truly awful situation, more tragedy surrounding tragedy in New Orleans as Kirby's father falls on New Year's, breaks his hip, goes in for surgery, and then could not recover after complications from said surgery. This is a guy who devoted his life to football, decades of being a high school coach, which is the most selfless and respectable of all coaching positions. So I don't know, man. I don't have much to say except I'm really praying and thinking about everybody affected by everything in New Orleans and the entire Smart family. And here's to hoping that y'all can push through, I guess, as we all have to do in life now. Anyway, all right. But again, we got to push on. Let's have some fun here because ultimately that's what shows like this are all about as, this is our escape from reality. Let's start, Aaron. And let's be clear, this entire Final Four is just full of blue bloods. But let's start with a matchup that is as kind of insane as you could possibly fathom in terms of brand versus brand, and that is the Cotton Bowl going down in Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, Texas versus Ohio State. 2 teams that are top 5 all time in wins. 2 teams that, to bring it to the present, started the year in the top 4. And look at them now. Here they are in the Final Four. So 2 teams that are traditionally great, 2 teams that were thought to be great this season, 2 teams that have been great, and now these 2 great teams square up with one another. I found something very interesting in a piece in the Athletic, though, Aaron. Despite the fact that these are such legendary brands, they've only played each other 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a home and home in 05 and 06. And this kind of funny, Vince Young. So they're really good every time they play. Vince Young beat them in Columbus, then went on to win the Natty. The following season, Ohio State beats them in Austin, then goes on to lose in the Natty. And then they play in the 08 Fiesta Bowl, and it's a great game, major bowl game. Colt McCoy throws a game-winning touchdown with 16 seconds left. So here's to hoping that history can once again repeat itself, and we'll get a good game here at the end of the day. What's your initial pass at Buckeyes versus Longhorns here?
Oh, and second, I think they play each other next year to start the season off.
They do. First game of the season.
First game of the season.
Look, I got to be clear. My third eye is fully open, guys. And Bob Stradamus making his call here. Ohio State wins this game. Quinn Ewers transfers. They go on to win the national championship. Quinn Ewers transfers. He goes to Ohio State, and then they win a back-to-back national championship, and it starts by beating Texas in Columbus.
Yes, I think these are 2 of the best rosters. There's no doubt about it. I think that's the first thing. Like, these rosters are elite. So we're talking about 2. I mean, I would say if you want to go from like top to bottom of star power, this is as good as it can get this year, in my opinion. At times this season, I've thought Ohio State was the best team in America. At times this season, I've thought that Texas was the best team in America. That's just how good they are. And when they show us when they're at their best, they can beat anyone. Now they kind of face each other in this matchup, which is going to be terrific here in the Cotton Bowl. Who's playing the best, with the most confidence, with the most swagger, the least amount of holes heading into this game? And I think the big advantage is Ohio State. I think Texas has maybe a couple more flaws that we didn't think they would have heading into the season. Now they've shown up. Running backs, we knew were going to be a problem. They got banged up in the preseason. Wisner's good, but inconsistent there at the run game. Quinn, inconsistent there at the quarterback position. Defense is still elite, even though they've been a little bit leaky the past 2 games. I still think that's a really talented defense on all 3 levels, but they've shown us a little bit of ability to be gone on that side. Now you look at Ohio State, and no weakness has shown in the past 2 weeks. We thought offensive line was going to be the reason why Ohio State did not win a national championship, the reason why they weren't going to beat Michigan or beat Oregon or win the Big 12, and that showed its head up. But all of a sudden, it looks like the script is flipped. They're playing better. The passing game is incredible. There's not a lot of holes that I can poke right now for Ohio State and the Buckeyes. So when it comes to confidence, which is a big part of this game of football, Ohio State walks into this game feeling like we're invincible, where I guarantee as a Texas player, you're looking around the room a little bit saying, hey, we're not playing as well as maybe we can or could, and we better bring our A game, but we still know if we can do that right now with the players we have.
So there's a lot of great questions going on and comments going on in the chat right now, and a lot of like kind of conversational points that I want to get into. But Dobby here says, is Howard better than Ewers? And I want to talk about Will Howard for a minute, Aaron, because as I'm doing my notes for today's show, I mean, I end up writing myself. At the end of the day, is Will Howard the biggest key to the entirety of the playoff? And I would say this, despite the kind of varied takes on Howard this season, I want to ask you a question, or say agree or disagree. Yep. Will Howard is clearly the best quarterback left in the playoff.
Oh, he's 100% the best quarterback in the playoff. When I did my rankings heading into the playoffs, he was number 2 behind Dillon Gabriel. And then we saw what happened a week ago when those two matched up. And Dillon played fine, but Dillon...
I think Dillon played well considering he did not have the support of a Howard around him. Like it was a rough.
He has plenty of support around him. It's just
in terms of how in terms of how the game was flowing, it felt like Gabriel was running for his life the entire night and having to create kind of against a team that was kicking their ass. Where Howard had run support. Well, he kind of opened up the run, but whatever.
And that's going to be a problem for Texas too, is that support. But in this game and what's left, I think Will Howard is by far the best quarterback left in the college football playoffs. And I like Drew. I think Drew would probably be my number 2. I think.
Oh, wow. So what a fall for Quinn.
No, I know. I mean, this even goes, like I said, these are my rankings heading into the playoffs. Drew is ahead of Quinn. He's just playing better right now. And I do think the dual threat ability of both those guys, of Will Howard and Drew Aller, and not like saying like neither guy is like a 4-5, 4-6 guy, but they both have shown the ability to run the football when needed. And Quinn did a little bit last week versus Arizona State, but I still think overall, like that is not even close to, you're not worried about Quinn running the football at all. It is not a strength.
If Quinn wants to do that, like you'll take that. If your coverage is forcing Quinn to pick it up with his legs, I think over the course of a 60-minute game, that works out in your favor.
Yeah. So I love Will Howard. I think Will may be the number 3 quarterback off the board in the NFL draft. That's how well he's played this season. He has elevated his game now. He's had 2 bad games all year. 2. Yeah. Other than that, I've been very impressed with him.
So if we look at the 2 playoff games that Will Howard has had, it's actually kind of insane. 82% completion in game 1, 24-29, 311, 10.7 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Then last week, 17-26, 319, 12 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he is entering red hot. And one of the main reasons why is because Jeremiah Smith. Dan Orlovsky said something that was pretty shocking to me. Now, granted, I don't know, maybe this isn't like 100% true, but it's also not true. He said Jeremiah Smith would be the number 1 overall pick today if he was available to go to the NFL. I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. You're talking about an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, a true freshman. Mm-hmm. And he's saying that if he was eligible, which he's not because he's too young, but if you could draft him, that he would be the number 1 overall pick. And again, his numbers through 2 playoff games, 13 catches, 290 yards, 4 touchdowns. And here we arrive at another interesting matchup, Aaron, because Texas's secondary for the entirety of the year looked like the best in the entire country, or arguably the best. And I know talent-wise, they still are. Their safety room's incredible. That said, as you pointed out, Clemson, those freshman wide receivers, having some success. No real problems with how they played against Arizona State, but it's like, okay, if Clemson and Klubnik got you, what are Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Egbuka going to be able to do? Like, do you think this Texas secondary can look as elite as they did all year long?
No, I don't think they will. I think this passing tech it's because it's not just a one-man band with Jeremiah. I think that's the problem with any defense. I mean, what they can do, and it goes to the legs of Will Howard. You have to worry about Will Howard running it. You have to worry about Quinshon and Henderson running the football. And both those guys had incredible games last week. You have to worry about Egbuka and Tate, and just the list goes on and on and on. So this isn't an offense you're like, oh, we just take Penn State, for example. You take away the tight end, you feel pretty good about, okay, the rest of the weapons can't necessarily win you the football game. And but Penn State can still lean on the run game a little bit. They can lean on Drew and his ability to kind of create at times. But if you can slow down Warren, you feel pretty good that you can slow down that offense.
There's nobody through the air that's going to kill you.
Yeah. We're like, you slow down. If you want to put 2 guys and bracket Jeremiah, then Egbuka is going to get one-on-one. You can't tell me you feel good if you're going to leave Egbuka one-on-one. So I think the offense.
And then you have 2 running backs that are.
Well, even if you do cover them, go back last week. The throws that Will Howard were making were elite placement of the football. The touchdown to Egbuka, some of the throws and spots to Jeremiah Smith, where Jeremiah's getting double covered, and he's still putting in a spot knowing that, hey, this guy is Megatron. I throw it high, he's going to go up there and snag it. They're just they're playing in a different league at the moment, just a completely different league.
So that's kind of, so again, obviously, I think on the surface, we like Ohio State here. Because since that Michigan loss, this seems like an Ohio State team that has been revitalized, right? They had to suffer this very low moment to kind of refocus, and now they appear to be at their best. In terms of, actually, before we talk Texas, in terms of Ohio State weakness, smash the numbers in the chat. Says Joel Klatt's boa constrictor metaphor applies. If you smash OSU for 4 quarters, you can win. If you try to out finesse them, you will lose. Deep down, OSU is soft. You have to break them. I don't know if I agree with OSU being soft. That my issue with that statement is it's not untrue, but if you smash them, you can, like,
it's not Michigan is a physical team.
And Michigan is kind of singular in terms of culture, yes, and how they and how they've, because it's not just it's as much mental with Michigan, Ohio State at this point as it is physical. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Texas has those same advantages. Like, I don't see a team left in this playoff that can just smash Ohio State. Like, I feel that's probably the better path to success, but I just don't think it's that easy. And when I look at this Ohio State team the last 2 games, I don't think they look very soft.
No.
You know?
I think we all know this. Like, they go back to that game versus Michigan. Like, they tried for some reason to be that physical team to prove their manliness. And I'm not.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't think they're a soft. They're not a soft football team. They're not Michigan, but Michigan's also has built this mindset and culture that is ultra physical at the lines of scrimmage. Like, that's how they win football games. Like, they're on the one extreme end of the spectrum. Ohio State doesn't need to be on that side of the spectrum to be considered a team that's not soft. I think they're a physical team. I think they're very physical on defense. I think they try and be physical in the way they run the football, but also you have to play to your strengths, and that's what they've done. You laid out the numbers beautifully, T. They have thrown the football. They have said, Will Howard, you are the main guy on this offense, along with Jeremiah Smith. We'll lean on that. And then guess what it did? It opened up the run game to let Judkins and Henderson do their thing. So it's not run to pass. It is pass to run. And for 2 straight games, it has caused them to, and most people believe, that this is the best team in the country with that recipe. They did not do that versus Michigan. They should have. They'll do that versus Texas, which is why they'll win.
They're like a UFC fighter who just tried to stand and bang with someone who is only known for standing and banging, where maybe it was like grappling or something. That would have been more their style. They played it in Michigan's hands. To your point. Also, that pass to run bit is interesting because they're the only team left in the playoff that applies to. Okay, so that's a lot about Ohio State. Let's talk about Texas. And the only reason why I worry for Texas here is because right now, and I've played a lot of video games in my life, so I filter everything through a video game lens. Texas is like the final boss of a game that has a giant glowing weak spot. Now, not everybody's able to hit the weak spot, but if you can, you make them falter significantly. You stagger them. And it's all about, can Texas run the ball? Against Clemson, why was that game not even close? I would say not even close. 292, 6.1 yards per carry. It makes Quinn's life infinitely easier. It sets up play action, which Quinn is a lead at. It just makes everything work. But then 53 yards for 1.8 per against Arizona State. And lo and behold, you saw what happened. How did Georgia beat them both times? Exactly like that. They held Texas to under 2 yards a carry, put the game in Quinn's hands, and he would make enough mistakes. Ohio State is a top 5 rush defense in the entire country. I get very worried for Texas. They'll be able to run the ball. And then when you put it in Quinn Ewers' hands, for some reason, I just feel like I would almost guarantee a Caleb Downs pick. Yeah. Even if I don't even know what his stats are in the season pick wise, but I just feel it in my bones that that's coming this game.
So this is going to be the second best defense they've faced all season long. And, Georgia being the other one, and I don't want to say second best, this is probably the best. Ohio State's defense is better than Georgia's defense. And Georgia showed you what you can do when you can stop the run. I mean, it's right there for you. If you can stop the run, they can't move the football consistently. They can't get in the end zone. It happened twice versus the dog. So, and one time was at home, and this game's going to be in Texas. It should be a heavy Texas fan favorite in this football game, but still, this is going to be a game in which Quinn has to be elite. Quinn has to go, 27 of 36 for 4 touchdowns and 350 yards and no interceptions. Like, this is his moment right here. This is Quinn's moment. This is his moment to be the Quinn Ewers that I thought, and Texas fans thought, that he could be to start the season. It has been very sporadic, his play this year, due to injury at times and just maybe not being as good as we thought he was. But he has to bring it. Like, that is, you say Will Howard's the key to the game. Like, Quinn is the key to the game. You can say the running game is and isn't. Texas will not be able to run the ball consistently. Let's just say it right now. We can say that, like, run games, the thing that's going to make it happen. But do we truly believe they're going to be able to run the football? No. Okay, like, let's be honest.
No,
them being able to run the football, I doubt it's going to happen. So, like, let's just get rid of that narrative. Quinn has to be elite throwing the football if they want to have a chance.
Okay, look, so a lot of people in chat are talking about how, like, what, Texas is a physical team? If we said Texas is a physical team, that's not what we meant. What we're saying is Texas is not night and day more physical than Ohio State. No. They're very evenly matched up. What I'm saying is you can't just be like, oh, well, Texas just needs to rely on their physicality and they can out-tough Ohio State. I don't find that to be true is all I'm saying. They're obviously both physical teams. They're both elite on both lines of scrimmage. Advantages for Texas, Aaron. Travel is on Texas side. I don't know how much. But I'm being serious with this.
Okay,
especially in the day and age in college football where guys aren't used to this. I was thinking about today. This would be pretty fucking exhausting. If you're one of these college kids, you're not used to this shit. You're traveling every single week. You're staying at hotels for multiple days throughout that week. You're getting ready for the biggest games of your lives. Very mentally taxing as well. I mean, Texas played at home. Texas played in Atlanta. And now they're playing 200 miles from Austin. In fact, if you look at the total travel up to this point, Penn State will be at over 3,400 miles. Notre Dame will be over 2,200 miles. Ohio State, 3,200 miles. Texas, just 1,000.
Yeah.
So the kind of traveling lift has not been nearly the same as Texas. And then potentially, although Ohio State fans always shock me with how they travel, potentially maybe a heavy Texas crowd. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Do you think so?
I would say at least 60% Texas.
I would be shocked if it got above 60%.
Really?
I think there might be. Yeah. I mean, I've seen now. Granted, it was New Orleans, so maybe Dallas is different. Weather's going to be insane with the polar vortex. But like, I remember the 07 Natty against Ohio State, thinking, okay, that'll be like heavy LSU, and it was 50-50.
Oh, damn.
Stadium. So I don't know. I think it'll be.
I think there's a new. This is not. This is we. It's amazing how far or how fast we've moved away from the Ryan Day hate and the game versus Tennessee, in which Tennessee fans had 30,000 fans in the stadium. Like, it was crazy how much orange was there in Columbus. I think the fans now are like, holy shit, like, we are the best team in the country. Holy shit, we are going to win a national championship. So I would, yeah, they're going to travel, but I would still lean a little bit more Texas. Because once again, you have to think, as an Ohio State fan, we believe we are going to win this football game. I would rather save up the money to go to the national championship.
Maybe so.
There's that part of it too.
This is just.
I think the fan had to pay. The fan had now. Ohio State fans just had to pay to go to California. That's a hell of a flight. That's a lot of money to go to the Rose Bowl, to pay for a hotel in there. Now they're going to have to go to Texas, and then they're going to have to go to Atlanta. Like, that's just pick your spots. I think you pick the Rose Bowl because it's the Rose Bowl, and obviously the game against Oregon. I think they feel pretty confident that they're going to win this game. I mean, me personally, I'd be saving my money for Atlanta. Because what does a win in this game do for you?
What do you mean?
As a fan? I mean, like winning in the Rose Bowl is pretty sexy. Winning the Cotton Bowl is awesome because you help your team advance. But like 2 to the 3, I'm picking Rose Bowl. I'm picking Natty. I think there's going to be people.
So maybe we end up with a very pro-Texas crowd then, and that could be a big advantage there, as we've seen this year in college football. Home field advantage matters a ton. Mm-hmm. I think that. I'm trying to think about final points on Texas that I maybe haven't. Again, I think the secondary has to play the game of the season. They definitely have the most talent of anybody else to be able to keep up. Maybe Notre Dame would if they were fully healthy, but to be able to keep up with those weapons that Ohio State has. And then offensively, I mean, that's the thing. You ran the ball. I mean, so there's some talk of the Michigan game earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Like, Texas fucking dominated Michigan up front that game. It's one of the reasons why we became so.
I think Michigan's a team, though, that was so young early in the season. No, Michigan. I mean, Michigan had an incredible end of the season. So, like, I don't want to compare what Michigan was week 2 when they had to replace like 15 plus starters on their entire football team. Like, their entire roster left for the NFL last year. And don't forget, their head coach did too. Okay, it wasn't going to be the same. They got better during the season.
I agree, but it is a data point that has to be mentioned.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Ohio State did lose to Michigan. Texas beat the fuck out of them.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I mean, Michigan got way better at everything else. So, but like, can you scheme up some of that rushing success that you had early on that really set Quinn up at the beginning of that game? Also, to your point, that's when Quinn was at his best. That game.
I think that, to me, that was the biggest thing.
From the first drive, he was on point in that game.
Quinn in that football game, I just gave you the stats, what he needs to do in this game. He was 24 of 37. I said 25 of 36. 250, 3 touchdowns, no picks. So he had the game that I said he needs to have versus Ohio State. He had that game versus Michigan. Can he do it again?
All right. It is time to pick. Although it feels very chalky and it feels a bit prisoner of the moment, I just can't bring myself to overthink this one. With the Ohio State team that we've seen through playoff games, they look like clearly the most complete team. I think they have the better quarterback, and they don't have the glaring weakness that we've seen out of Texas. So I don't know what I would play gambling wise. I think Ohio State's favored by 6.5. Mm-hmm. I believe Michigan could keep it close, certainly, but I cannot get away from picking the Buckeyes here. I think Ryan Day continues this get out of jail free run and goes to the Natty.
Just like there's momentum in games, there's momentum in seasons. And yes, Texas is a Final Four team, but it was very shaky to get here. Even the Clemson game at times seemed like Clemson was going to make that an interesting game in the fourth quarter. Arizona State game, like, it has not been smooth sailing as the game before that. They lost to Georgia. Right now, Ohio State is playing with confidence, and I think that confidence, obviously coupled with the elite playmakers on both sides of the football, I think they win this football game. And I would take the 6 points too.
If Texas does win, one thing I think you could expect, Aaron, red zone defense. Like you said, that's skill, and that's something that in all the big games this year, whether it's coming up with a big stop against Arkansas, coming up with a big stop against Clemson, coming up with a big stop against Arizona State, red zone defense has consistently shown up when Texas has needed it most. So something to watch for. All right, next up on the list, Penn State, Notre Dame. Again, guys, we talk about brands. Notre Dame, the 4th all-time winningest program in college football history. Penn State, the 8th all-time winningest program in college football history. How about this? This all-time series, Aaron, they played much more than the last two, but 9-9-1. Perfectly even. All-time rubber match between two of the most legendary college football programs of all time. And both teams in similar situations, and that as good as their past is, or whatever you want to say, they have not had a major win in a long time, right? That was Notre Dame's first major bowl win in 30 years, I think, last week. Obviously, the entire story about James Franklin as Penn State is, can he win the big one? Can he win the big one? And, well, here you have two teams that are kind of shockingly similar. Like, this game, to me, defense and running the ball. That's all this game is about. You want to talk about toughness, you want to talk about physicality. This is some old school ass football with a couple of old school ass brands.
A little bit, but I do think Penn State has the ability to pass the football. I think for Penn State, it's like, just at times don't try and be too cute with it. And I know they loved all the different formations, the shifts, the trickery, the Tyler Warren snapping the football, then running down the field to catch a touchdown pass. Like, they love all that. And I'm not saying lean away from that and continue to do it. I don't think you need to do it as much as you maybe did versus Boise State, where it felt like at times like just put them away. So I think Penn State, which I think is crazy because I think Notre Dame's favored in the game. I think Penn State's still the better football team. I think Penn State obviously is the healthier football team, but we said the same stuff against Georgia a week ago, and Notre Dame beat them by double digits.
So that's where, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that I thought Georgia's better, but I feel like I do feel what you just said, though. I wrote it right here. I think that Penn State has the advantage. However, Notre Dame has had the harder opponents and has looked better against the harder opponents up to this point. Like, it feels.
But I guess harder opponents, because they Penn State put a throttling on SMU, but SMU was not
SMU
prepared.
was the worst team in the playoff, though.
Yes.
The ACC's been hot ass during bowl season. SMU was not ready. You can't throw multiple pick sixes and have the game go anyway but a complete ass kicking. I'm sorry, but the Penn State Boise State game was closer than we probably gave it credit on this show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was close for a long time. It was 54. It was almost 24-21.
But I mean, you talk about running the football type of game. I mean, they held Boise State to 2.7 yards per carry. They held Genty to 3.5. So, like, to me, they've proven that they can stop the run. But so is Penn. Notre Dame. That's what I'm saying. So it's very interesting. But Georgia's been so inconsistent running the football this year too, where I would still say what Penn State did to Boise State is more impressive than what Notre Dame did to Georgia. No? How not?
That is the wildest fucking thing that has ever been uttered on the. What do you, bro? What do you mean? What do you mean? What Penn State did against Boise, a game that was almost 24-21, if not for a hands to the face penalty, was more impressive than Notre Dame shutting down a Georgia team that has more.
I was saying what they did to stop the run was more impressive. I'm not saying the win overall was more impressive. I said what they did to stop the run.
Team versus the Georgia Bulldogs.
It's gonna be a first round. No. That's a Georgia football team too, without their starting quarterback, and you just sell out to the run. They did it. They did it to perfection. That's why they gave up some big plays in the past game. I think
Notre Dame would have deep dicked Ashton Genty in the exact same way that Penn State. You don't think so?
Yeah, maybe.
As of what you just saw.
We didn't see it. So I don't know.
Whatever. I don't think what I'm saying is crazy. I think so. Indiana was way better than what people gave credit for. That score was not close at all. They completely dominated Indiana.
They did.
You could say the Georgia game was maybe a bit closer to the final score, even though I didn't really feel that, but they win that game. But like, you had harder opponents, you dominated both. But to your point, on paper, Penn State feels like they have more advantages. Like, as much as like Jeremiah Love and Price, they're not as at least not statistically intimidating. It's like Allen and Singleton.
It's also like how healthy is Love too. Love is just not
exactly.
Yes.
You think about Drew Aller versus Riley Leonard, and you probably take Drew Aller. Like Notre Dame doesn't have somebody like Tyler Warren. So again, it feels like Penn State's stronger on paper, but I'll be damned if Notre Dame hasn't looked better throughout these playoffs.
And I'll say this when it comes to just matchups in the game, like we all love Tyler Warren and what he can do, but this is an elite secondary for Notre Dame. Really good. I know they're young in some spots due to some injuries, but this is a really, really talented secondary. And I still do not trust Penn State's receivers on the outside to consistently make plays. So,
no. But do you trust Notre Dame's against that Penn State defense? Kind of same to me.
I like Notre Dame's talent on the outside. I think it's just it comes down to Riley Leonard. You know, I will continue to question him with his arm. You know, he helped win the game last week with some big time plays. You know, a couple dinker dunks there that were impressive, but it was mostly his legs that helped propel that offense to win the football game. I don't know, man. I don't love either offense. Both offenses have been, you know, I would say average. I think, you know, definitely advantage Penn State a little bit. I think Drew's playing at an elite level. I think they're Tyler Warren's one of the best playmakers in America. Their running backs are better. I like the offensive line, but is that still enough to be able to put points up against Notre Dame? Like it's a low scoring game. There's another one like
defensive running ball.
This is the same thing that helped Notre Dame win versus Georgia. Who can run the football? Who can stop the run? Who can win special teams? And who doesn't commit turnovers? It's simple stuff. That's what happened a week ago.
It's kind of fascinating. Yeah. And another parallel from a week ago, it's rare in today's football to find games where it feels like the quarterbacks aren't the star of the show. Like the same way that I said Riley was not the reason for the win and Gunner was not the reason for the loss. But you still got to, you got to make enough plays within there. I think that's again going to be the case this week. Like the quarterbacks matter and whoever plays better, but like ultimately it's the defenses that are going to determine this game. So I guess by extension, which quarterback can manage to find more success within that context. I feel like if I ask you this question, well, let me just ask it. Is there a big gap in quarterbacks here?
If you look at it from a sense of like NFL talent wise,
not NFL, because obviously NFL talent's massive. Aller's like
massive difference.
Darlene and Riley's not.
Yeah. When it comes to winning this football game, I don't think it's like a massive gap.
Okay.
I don't, because I think that the legs of Riley can make a difference based on what I saw a week ago versus Georgia. It could be enough. It just comes down to, can he continue to protect the football? That has helped propel Notre Dame to this position right now. And this is a very talented defense for Penn State that has shown, obviously, go back to SMU game, that they could get turnovers in bunches. He has to protect the football. We will say this game, we'll say it the next game if they win this game, because he has shown at times early on this season that he could cost the team with turnovers. And Drew has not shown that to me yet. So I trust Drew to this point a little bit more. But when it comes to like a belief that one quarterback is going to win the game just on their shoulders, I think both can do it.
I feel like Tyler Warren feels like a separation point here. Like I said, I don't know that I think Notre, but that, again, whatever. That I'm not just repeating myself now, because between Warren, the running backs being healthy, the defensive stars. I mean, Abdul Carter, I think, is going to go in this game, whereas Notre Dame loses Riley Mills against Indiana, right? So Notre Dame loses their sack leader, but Abdul Carter, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, 22 tiffles, 11 sacks. Sounds like Franklin thinks he's going to play. So I'm really at odds with myself, because I think on paper Penn State's better, but I think Notre Dame's played better. And so at the end of the day, Aaron, I'm just going to go with a full gut check, nut check, and I'm going to go with my intuition, and I'm going to say that Notre Dame wins this game.
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm so torn. Is there a coaching advantage in your mind, or is that a mute point too?
I mean, I don't know if I'm just being another prisoner of the moment take, but I feel like I like Marcus Freeman better. Maybe it's because we've seen James Franklin piss down his leg so many times. Like James Franklin has a real tendency to tighten up in some of these moments.
I'll
But
go Penn State. I think Penn State's still the better roster. I think Penn State last week, the game felt closer than what I think it should have been. I think Drew's playing at a high level right now. I think Tyler Warren's too good to contain. I think their defense is on equal playing field. So it just comes down to me like which offense I feel like has the ability to make more plays in this game. And I would say that's Penn State. So I think Penn State wins a close ass football game.
This is a good point by Ferris here. What's fascinating to me about the Final Four is all 4 head coaches have a history of coaching failures. One of them is going to break through. True. Though, to be fair to Freeman, I don't think his failures maybe stack up compared to the rest.
But has Franklin's really been failures too? Like he's lost to Ohio State and Michigan. Like
no. Well,
not a failure. They just haven't broken through. Difference.
Failure's relative, though. It is still for Franklin. It's a big deal.
Yes, it's a big deal for all these coaches.
No, but what I mean is like I understand if you want to use the word failure for Franklin. Although I also understand you pushing back against it. Like I do. You get where they're coming from, though. You get where they're coming from with Pitt State. I just don't think Freeman's really had too many failures, right? Like it's his third year on the job.
Yeah.
But it's his third year on the job. All these other guys have way longer.
100%.
How much does this matter? Somebody to think about. Notre Dame 2 days less of prep and recovery than Penn State. I mean, they still get a full week. You still get 7 days, but Penn State got 9 days to get ready for this game.
It's a big deal, especially with Carter getting him healthy on the outside there defensively.
I mean, at least it's not less than a week, so you hit your normal game rhythm.
Yeah,
but
what you brought up in the first game, I think, is true. Like the season grind is one thing, but knowing that you're going to have to travel and the emotions that go into each one of these games are at an all-time high.
Yeah,
and like let's be honest, like we talk about Penn State maybe hasn't looked good, but Penn State knew they were going to beat the brakes off SMU. Like that game was over after the first quarter. So like they were kind of in cruise control.
They were killing it. I'm not blaming them for the
cruise control.
SMU sucked.
No, I agree. But what I'm trying to get the point is like, I don't think they were mentally or physically exhausted after beating SMU or Boise. Where for Notre Dame, I think there is a mental exhaustion of having to go play Georgia. Maybe not Indiana as much, but still like that's 2 games. And last week was a game against Georgia, and you have 2 less days after playing Georgia.
And you're injured to all get out. I mean, you're more injured than anything left.
Taxing that game had it been for Notre Dame last week.
I know people said it was boring. I'm like, I think it's fucking awesome. These dudes are hitting the fuck out of each other right now.
So I think the fact that they have 2 less days of rest and played a more physical game is going to show up.
So okay, again, I'm not going to change my pick, but that's just more and more advantages stacking for Penn State. I kind of feel like if James Franklin lets this get by, that he has really screwed this one up. One cool element of this game, 2 black head coaches, which means that you are guaranteed to get a black head coach in the national championship. I think that may be the first time ever. If it's not, there's never been black head coaches ever won a national championship FBS. So who knows? We could be seeing history made in more ways than one the first time that we crown a 12-team playoff champion.
There we go. I do like Freeman's response to that topic, though.
What do you say?
It doesn't matter the color of the skin. It should matter about what my resume looks like.
That's fine, but I mean, it does matter though. Representation matters. You know, see, this is the thing. All you
I'm just saying,
no, but I can already see the chat and everything. Like,
can I not say I like this response?
Yeah, you can.
Am I not allowed to say that?
No, you can, but everybody gets so defensive when stuff about this is brought up. You want to know how you know that representation matters? You want to know that representation matters? How pumped do you get about a white cornerback? Look in your heart. How pumped do you get when you see Lad McConkey out there? Why is that? Okay? It's all the same shit. Everybody just chill out. It's fucking cool. It's fucking cool.
I get more excited if there's a white DB because I'm going to go after his ass. I don't care how good he is. I still can't believe the old boy is kicking ass for Philadelphia, whatever his fucking name is.
Exactly. And so why do all of a sudden does everybody love him? All the white people? Because you don't see it ever. You don't see white corners. It's been since Jason Sehorn. Representation matters.
He was a safety. That wasn't a corner. He was a safety.
Petunia Dynasty TBob, you're such a I mean, again, bro, you're such a little bitch. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? Do you view everything in your life through that lens? Just fucking chill. Just like everything, like political, woke, this, that. What? Because it's cool that you're going to get a black football head coach in the college football national championship for the first time in a sport that's been predominantly black for 50 years now? Fuck yeah, that's cool. It's interesting. Stop with the race stuff. We don't care. Oh my God. Also, it is so easy to not be cognizant of racial differences when you are of the majority. Fuck it. Whatever, dude.
There we go.
Y'all, whatever. What?
Nothing.
What'd you say, bitch? Say it.
Nothing. I said appreciate the lesson. I said appreciate the lesson. That's all I said. TBob's ready to rip someone's asshole.
I know. I'm just triggered. Now. But I think it's cool. Anyway. I think at the end of the day, I think you get and Asian representation with Marcus Freeman. That's right. Hell yeah, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, there we go. I love me some Asians. That's why I think he's so good looking. That's why.
Okay. One thing also that I had no idea about that I found to be shocking. Read this in The Athletic. Notre Dame was the worst field goal kicking team in the country during the season. Notre Dame made less than 50% of their kicks this season because of injuries. Despite that, Mitch Jeter is 5 of 6 in the playoffs, including 4 from 40 plus. And we all know how automatic it looked last week against UGA. So something to watch out for, right? He's been hot, but does that stat rear its ugly head in one of these games? Like it feels like you're kind of playing with fire in that regard, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, could be. Before we get into if you want to get into topics today or tomorrow,
I'll probably push most of it to tomorrow.
Let's do some picks for one of these games. Let's do one of the games. Let's do a little 3-pack.
Remember, guys, we are sponsored here on OTB. Oh, shit, too much radio. We are sponsored here on Snaps by our friends over there at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is awesome, guys. You can play daily fantasy there. They have these pick'ems. That's what we like to play, though, where you look at a game, you look at a bunch of different stats, and you choose higher or lower. And you can build out giant parlays, or you can do I like just 2 picks, 3x if you win, right? Not a heavy lift to win and a pretty good payout when you do. You triple it. Remember, if you use the promo code SNAPS, you help us because it shows them that the advertising's working. They're happy the investment made with us. That's great. And we love them because they didn't want any content control. They're fine with Aaron opening the show, talking about what mayonnaise looks like. So use the promo code SNAPS. You get a free pick and a first-time deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So when you sign up, you use SNAPS. You put in 200, you get 200 more in your account. It's very fun. Underdog Fantasy. Shout out to the homies. Here we go. What game do you want to play, Aaron? Or do you want to play both?
Let's just do one now and do one tomorrow.
Okay, good call. Good call.
Now one tomorrow.
So we'll start with Notre Dame, Penn State.
Drew Aller.
You've been on fire reading these things lately.
I like lower 209 pass push rush for Drew.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a lot through the air. Sack's probably going to happen to take away rush yards. I like that. I mean, they struggled. I think they didn't hit the number versus Boise State passing. That Boise State pass defense is nowhere near as talented as Notre Dame. So, like I said, I like this secondary for Notre Dame. I think they can hold up, especially against some receivers are iffy. So I would go lower overall, get a couple sacks. Give me lower that 209.5. I mean, do we just lower Riley Leonard as well?
Pass and run, yeah. I like the pass and run.
Right? Got to, right? Like we said, defense and running the ball. Let's just fade the QBs through the air. So right now, if we played this, it's a 3x, 2 picks, 3x.
Do you want to just do the 2x? You want to just stick with the QBs?
I love it. I like it simple. I think you know how it is with parlays. The more greed you engage in, Now, granted, you did have a 4-pack hit the other day, which is quite nice. But, I mean, this feels pretty good. It would take some crazy shit, I think, for those not to hit. There it is, guys. Lock it in. Drew Aller, Riley Leonard, under their passing and rushing totals. Also, I love that sacks could help us out in this regard. The one time that I'm happy that sacks get removed from yardage. Hey, remember, you must be 18 or older, 20 plus, Massachusetts and Arizona, 19 in Alabama and Nebraska, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, it's 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783. Text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 247-HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. Damn girl, fine. Not really on the final part there. Promo code SNAPS, guys. Promo code SNAPS. Use the links in the description. Support the guys, support us. And although we're not doing a full read on them today, shout out to the homies at Axia Time. Watches that tells so much more than time. Official watch of the college football playoffs and the Heisman ceremony. Official watch of snaps. It's axiatime.com. AXIAtime.com.
See you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe let me see if there's one thing with like 4 minutes to get out on the way out here. Something to watch. I don't know. We'll end the show here. But Ryan Grubb fired in Seattle as the offensive coordinator. Of course, him and Kalen DeBoer, bosom buddies, have had incredible success together. Kalen DeBoer took a pay cut at Washington to keep Grubb with him. I have to imagine that Kalen is, especially after how the offense this year like I have to imagine DeBoer is immediately chasing after Grubb with gobs of money to be his OC.
Well, yeah, he is the boosters, whoever's paying for the salary. Like they want that offense to be better. They have one of the best receivers in the country, and he was somewhat non-existent down the stretch. Like they need a quarterback, and they need Grubb there calling the plays. So I think they saw that based on, especially that Michigan game. I mean, on the call, I was just shocked with how bad they were executing from an offensive perspective with still a very talented roster. So there's a lot that needs to get fixed for Alabama. Like I said, you got to find a new QB. Probably be nice to get a couple more receivers to spread out the wealth a little bit. But I think an OC would help a lot along the way. So, yeah, I think he'll be OC next year. I think it'd be crazy if we don't see him on the sidelines.
Major Brian Hunter first. Bert Auburn will miss a kick, and we will chase his ass off the field. That's my pick. That's in Texas. Yeah, Texas fans not too happy with Bert Auburn. Okay. I'll give you my Nosferatu review and Gladiator 2 review on the way out of here. First, we'll start with Nosferatu. Unfortunately, I had to leave Aaron's Duke's Mayo Bowl to go watch Nosferatu with my wife. I fucking loved it. You want to talk about a film-ass film.
What is it?
Not a big budget. It's Robert Eggers' new movie. I believe it's Robert. Or the Eggers for sure.
What is it called?
Nosferatu. It's the old vampire. It's a retelling of the silent film vampire era movie. But it's the same guy that directed. Do you remember The Northman? No. Did you see Northman? Very badass, very gritty, beautifully filmed. Same thing with The Witch. Same thing with Lighthouse. So I never saw Lighthouse. Didn't you see Lighthouse? No. Well, anyway, it's about basically Dracula, and it is, or Count Orloff or something. It is awesome, man. It reminded me of what good, creative, beautiful filmmaking be. Just maybe a little slow at times would be my only critique, but I don't mind it because the acting, the writing, the beauty, the costume design, again, how it's shot, like no CGI. Or obviously there's computer touches, backgrounds, whatever, but used very adeptly. No bullshit. Just, it felt, and again, made for less than $50 million. And it's one of the most visually stunning movies I've seen in years. It was creepy. It was unsettling. It's not bullshit jump scare horror. I love Nosferatu. It's a little sexy as well. Get you a little horny there, and watch out now.
Horny.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, cinematography fucking out the roof. So really enjoyed that. Gladiator 2.
Shit.
5 out of 10. 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Strengths. Outside of these CGI animals, which I fucking hate. I hate CGI animals. Although the rhinos.
I always thought those were pretty bad too in the show. Like in the movie, like some of that shit was so unrealistic.
Yeah.
So
Oh no. CGI animals are the worst thing that's ever
the
happened.
the monkeys was terrible.
It's fucking awful. It's fucking awful. The rhino looks okay because rhino's skin I think is easier to do, but whatever. Outside of that, a visual feast as well. Gladiator 2 was like, I love all the costume and set design.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Roman history nerd. So anytime you throw a ton of money into recreating Rome, I'm into it, very into it. Action was cool, but everything else was kind of just a complete mess.
Yeah.
The plot was way too all over the place, way too fucking scattered, no real direction, no real main character. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like it felt like okay, we cast a no name as the main character, but then we got Denzel, so we really need to get a lot of Denzel in there. And then it's like it's just all over the place. Like you said, Aaron, I think you nailed it.
I also feel like she's I haven't seen her. She feels like she's been out of work a little bit.
I think, yeah, look, I think that,
and I know you got to bring her back into it, but she felt like she's lost a step in her time away.
It felt poorly acted.
Yes.
But with so many actors that I know are great actors that felt poor, I always have to go back to writing. And I mean, there's one line where Denzel's like, the rage flows out of you like milk out of a whore's tit. And I was just like, that's the dumbest fucking, like, who the fuck? Somebody wrote that and thought, yeah, I fucking nailed that. Mm-hmm. And if I'm a judge, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. That's what I'm lifting. I like, get the fuck that.
There's so many good actors. What's his name? Was one of my favorite. He's one of my
favorite. Pedro Pascal.
Actors. Yeah, I love Pedro.
And he just looks bored the entire time.
I know.
Again, there's just too much going on. Focus on the gladiator. Red Fang 74, $5. Thank you. TBob, I had my nose for audio experience ruined by an old couple talking the entire time, waiting for that movie for 2 years. Theater etiquette is absurd. Yeah, that sucks, man. Don't talk in the theater, guys. The fuck are you doing? Anyway.
I tell you the one time that we were at a movie with Maddox, his first movie, and someone was talking, and my little 4-year-old got up and told him to be quiet.
Wow, how the turntables have turned. Normally, it is the kids acting a fool in the movie. Anyway, love you guys. There's your reviews. Everybody have a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow with a ton of college football tapas for us to feast on. So hit the like button.